I want to talk about a subject today that's it's something that's been very difficult for me to talk about in the past. I thought that I would talk a little bit about this and not go into too much detail. I think I might do like an entire video like separate from the vlog on this subject, because it's been a big part of my life, and it's still a big part of my life. That subject being skinny, or being thin, looking like a stick man, that kind of thing. For as long as I can remember, I have been very underweight. And that's something that I've been dealing with my entire life. Not just on the mental side of things, but also on the physical side of things. And in terms of being very underweight, it's not good for your body. It's in most cases just as bad as being overweight. Some argue that it's even worse. I don't know, but the physical part of it, being very underweight and your body not working as it should as a result of that, that's very difficult. And that's that's something that I've been sort of having in the back of my mind every single day, that my body is not running as it should do, and as a result of that, my life could be shortened because of that. And the other side of the coin is the sort of mental part of it, that you're constantly aware that you look different, that you're a lot smaller, that you stand out in a crowd. The reason why I wanted to talk a little bit about this is that I'm finally in a place in my life where I've sort of come to a place where I'm like, I don't really care what people think of me. I don't really care what people say when I'm not listening. I don't really care if people look at me on the streets. Not many years ago, I wouldn't go outside in like a t-shirt like I'm in right now. I wouldn't do that. I would have long sleeves on, even in the middle of the summer. I would never wear shorts. And I'm finally in a place where that doesn't bother me anymore. But that's taken, 10 plus years for me to get there. I imagine that there's probably a lot of people out there that feel the same way, that is in the same sort of situation as I am and have been in, who are still not in that place, who are still not comfortable walking like outside in public, with a short skirt on or a t-shirt or a top. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about this, because over the years I've learned a lot about how people behave around skinny people or around underweight people. And there's a couple of things that sort of jump out, a couple of things that has surprised me in the past and still continues to surprise me to this day. I often hear when I meet somebody, especially if I meet somebody new, somebody I don't know, I often hear them say stuff like, "Oh my God, you're so skinny." Almost like it's a compliment, or they're just like pointing out the obvious. "Oh, you're wearing sunglasses," or "You have a hat on." What people don't realize is that, and if you are one of those people, if you're one of those people who have said something like that to an underweight person, I'm not judging. Like I understand that a lot of people don't think further than that. That they don't think that's a bad thing. When you say something like that to a person who's underweight, it's exactly the same as walking up to an overweight person and saying, "Oh my God, you're fat." Exactly the same thing. The feeling that an underweight person gets when you say something like that, exactly the same feeling. That makes me feel just as crap as it would if you went up to an overweight person and said, "Oh my God, you're fat." I don't think a lot of people think about that. And I've had that comment more times than I can remember. And I don't think people realize that, it's really the same as calling somebody fat. Don't do that. I'm finally in a place where I can just shrug it off. I can just, yeah, all right, fine. It doesn't really bother me that much anymore. Today, it doesn't hurt me that much, but it annoys the hell out of me. Really try to remember, when you see somebody who is skinny, there's a fair chance that that person hasn't chosen that. I haven't chosen to be skinny. I eat like a dog. A lot of people, I'm sure, is in the same sort of situation. They haven't chosen this. They haven't chosen to be skinny, and they are sick of people calling them skinny. If you or underweight, if you're somebody who is very underweight and can't seem to put on the weight, whether you're a girl or a boy, a man or a woman, I hope you'll reach out. I hope you'll write a comment or reach out to me on one of the social channels that is linked in the description down there. I don't know a lot of people who are in the same sort of situation as I am. I don't really know anybody who's in that situation. Maybe we can help each other out. If you don't know what skinny looks like, skinny on a guy anyway, let me show you. That is skinny. Tiny arms. Look at that. If you see somebody like this, if you see somebody who looks like this, whether they're a girl or a guy, don't call them skinny. Please don't call them skinny. Be a decent human being and think twice before you say something like that. Same way you wouldn't walk up to somebody overweight down on the beach, laying, having fun, trying not to think too much about that they have a little bit of extra, you know. You wouldn't walk up to that person and say, "Oh, you fat." So don't call people skinny either. Just a couple of years back, I would never have done this. I would never have put a video of me, or a picture for that matter, on the internet for everybody to watch of me this undressed. I hope that if you're skinny and you're watching this and thinking, yeah, that's how I feel. Stop calling me bloody skinny, you idiots. Then I hope you got something from this. If you're watching this, you're not skinny, maybe you're overweight, maybe you're on the other side of things, then I think you can probably agree to a lot of what I've just said. It's really the same thing, it's just two different ends of the same scale. I think that's enough about being skinny. Yeah, just think once more. Me calling that person skinny, isn't that exactly the same as calling that one over there fat? Yeah. It is.